So moving along, let's learn a little bit about champagne so we can pick what the right champagne or sparkling wine is for entertaining or for ordering when we're out during the holidays this year. It's a very simple process. Obviously, you keep hearing me say champagne or sparkling wine. They're both the same. However, to be called champagne, you must actually have your winery in the Champagne region of France and abide by the laws of that region. Now, most champagnes and sparkling wines, if they're using the classic method, are made with three different grapes: Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier. Now, so why is champagne or sparkling wine mostly white? But one of the things we all need to recognize that no matter what grape varietal that you crush, the juice is going to be mostly white. The only thing that really adds color to either a still wine or a sparkling wine is contact with the skin or lees. So we'll talk about rosé in a little bit, but that's an important thing to know because obviously skins affect tannin and dryness in a wine. Now, the way champagne works is not very complicated at all. Basically, you have different styles, which mean different levels of sweetnesses. So we'll start here with a very popular wine called Moet White Star, and this is made by Moet Chandon in France, which also makes Dom Pérignon, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But this is a non-vintage champagne. All great champagne houses make what's called a non-vintage. And what that is this champagne or sparkling wine that's made every single year, and it's kind of their workhorse for their winery or champagne house. Now, what you'll also see on a label of wine is the style of wine. And the White Star is what they call extra dry. And extra dry is a sweeter style of sparkling wine or champagne than the next level, which you would see here, which is called Brut. The driest style of all wines made are in a Brut style. We do not show you here. There's also sweeter styles, one called demi-sec, which is not here, but extra dry is going to be much sweeter than Brut style. Brut style is by far the most popular type of style of wine to be enjoyed with food. Now, people often ask me as well, what's the best food pairing with champagne or sparkling wine? Well, it's made from Chardonnay, which is a dry style wine. It's made from Pinot Noir, which is dry. The whole characteristic of it is one of the things that it would go the best with are saltier foods like seafood, even potato chips and things of that nature. One of the big mistakes we make with champagne and sparkling wine, since it's so celebratory, is we'll serve it with cake or things high in sugar, and unfortunately it has enough acid in it that it doesn't really work with that. However, by that point when the cake comes out and everyone's having a toast, that's fine. But if you're serving a serious dinner party or you're ordering champagne with your meal, that's why classically in a restaurant situation you want to order your champagne first, because you're going to be ordering that with your appetizer, which is generally a savory, salty type of dish before the main course, and that's what it pairs most well with. So we have Moet Chandon, White Star, extra dry here, and then we have Veuve Clicquot. This is also a champagne that's a rosé, and the only thing, just like the rosés and the still wines, the reason why it is a rosé is that the winemaker creates a dosage of red wine juice where he leaves some of the juice with the red wine grape skins and creates a certain color. Then he'll impart that color and that dosage into the wine until he feels the flavor match works, as well as the color is perfect for what that wine is. And so that's why you pay a little bit more for rosé than you would just for a standard wine. This is also a non-vintage rosé from Veuve Clicquot. Now, these are both champagnes, as well as the Dom Pérignon, because they're all from the Champagne region of France. The next two, however, are domestic wines. We have a Schramsberg here from California, and one of the things on the label is Blanc de Blanc. And you'll see this on French champagne as well as other sparkling wines around the world. And what it means is very simple. Simple translation from French is white from white. So if we look at the three grapes that they use to make champagne, Chardonnay, Pinot Meunier, and Pinot Noir, this is going to be made from the white grape, which is the Chardonnay grape. So this is probably almost 100% Chardonnay, and it's going to be a very dry style. Now, moving over to one of my favorite domestic wines, Gruet from New Mexico. Very high scoring wine and a very good value if you're out shopping at a store. This is what's called a Blanc de Noir. And again, using the same principle, predominantly they're going to use Pinot Noir in this because it means white from red. And again, remember, just because they crushed the Pinot Noir, the juice is going to be white. So this is not a rosé wine. It's just had no contact with the skin, but they're using a red grape, the Pinot Noir grape. This is going to offer you more fruity characteristics than a Blanc de Blanc. Then we have our Tête de Cuvée, Dom Pérignon. Again, this is what's called a vintage champagne. And all the great champagne houses have vintage champagnes. And what it is really the winemaker and the owners of the estate getting together at the end of each vendimia, which means harvest, if you ever see that on a bottle of wine, and going, I pronounce this a vintage year because the grape quality and the harvest was so good. And only these grapes for this year can go into our best representation of our house. And so Dom Pérignon is not made every year. It might be made 3 out of 10 years, maybe 4 out of 10 years. But generally, that's why you're paying more money for it, because it's higher quality. And also, obviously, if you don't make it every year, there's going to be a lot less of it. So demand is higher. So hopefully, we've learned about non-vintage. We've learned the difference between sparkling wine and champagne, a little bit about rosé, and a little bit about Tête de Cuvée. So with that knowledge in mind, please have fun wherever you are this holiday, enjoying one of these great sparkling wines and champagnes. Salut.